What if I told you there's a town in America that's been on fire for more than 60 years? A place where the ground breathes smoke, the streets crack with heat, and where an entire community vanished, leaving behind only silence and ash. This isn't a legend. This is the true story of Centralia, Pennsylvania, the town that burned from beneath the earth. Once, Centralia was alive. Founded in 1866, it was a small mining town surrounded by rolling green hills, home to 2,000 people. Men worked deep underground in the coal mines, while children played baseball in the streets above. Church bells rang on Sundays, and smoke from chimneys drifted into the same sky that would one day turn gray with something far more deadly. Beneath the town lay a labyrinth of coal seams, vast veins of black gold that powered America's industry. But hidden inside those tunnels was a danger no one could see. And all it took was a single spark to awaken it. It began in May of 1962. The town council wanted to clean up the local landfill, an old open-pit mine that had become a dumping site. Their solution was simple: set the trash on fire. That's how they'd always done it. But that old pit wasn't just a pile of garbage. It sat directly on top of abandoned coal tunnels, dry, oxygen-rich, and filled with fuel. When the fire was lit, flames roared through the waste, burning hotter than anyone expected. Firefighters thought they'd put it out, but beneath the surface, the fire had slipped through a crack in the earth and found the coal. Once it reached the coal seam, it became unstoppable. Days turned to weeks. Residents began to smell sulfur in the air. Small wisps of smoke drifted out of the ground. No one imagined it was the beginning of something that would consume their entire town. The fire moved silently, spreading through miles of underground tunnels. The ground began to heat. Basements filled with gas. Snow melted in strange, perfect circles. Centralia's people began to realize something terrible was happening below their feet. By the 1970s, Centralia was dying. Children fainted in school from carbon monoxide. One gas station owner stuck his thermometer into his underground tank, 172 degrees Fahrenheit. If a spark had hit, the whole block could have exploded. The government stepped in. Teams of scientists and engineers came to measure the fire. They found it had spread across 8 miles of coal seam and might burn for centuries. Congress finally approved $42 million to relocate the residents. One by one, homes were torn down. Streets were closed. The post office zip code was erased. But not everyone left. A small group of residents refused to abandon their homes. They claimed the fire hadn't reached their properties. "This is our home," one man said. "We were born here, we'll die here." They became known as the holdouts of Centralia. They lived surrounded by empty streets, steaming vents, and the ghosts of neighbors who'd gone. Mailboxes stood with no letters. The church bells rang for no one. Eventually, the state gave up fighting them. In 2013, Pennsylvania agreed to let the last 7 residents stay until they died. After that, the land would belong to the government. Their houses still stand, scattered like lonely survivors on a dead landscape. But one event would show the world just how dangerous the fire truly was. It happened on Valentine's Day, 1981. A 12-year-old boy named Todd Domboski was playing in his backyard when the ground suddenly opened up beneath him. A sinkhole more than 100 feet deep swallowed him up. Inside, steam and toxic smoke billowed from the burning mine below. Todd clung to a tree root, screaming for help. His cousin rushed over and pulled him out just in time. Moments later, the hole collapsed completely. That story made national headlines and proved the fire was still alive. It wasn't a rumor. It was a monster breathing beneath Centralia. Today, only a few crumbling houses remain. The town's main road, once filled with cars, is now famous as the Graffiti Highway, a cracked, empty stretch of asphalt covered in colorful paint and messages. For years, tourists came to see it, to stand on the warm earth and feel the strange heat rising from below. But in 2020, the state covered it with dirt to stop trespassers. Still, if you visit the area, you can feel it. The warmth, the faint smoke, the eerie quiet. It's like the earth itself remembers. Scientists say the fire could burn for another 250 years. That means long after every trace of Centralia disappears, the flames beneath it will still be alive, eating slowly through the coal, through time, through memory. But Centralia's story isn't only a tragedy. It's a warning and a testament. It reminds us how a simple trash fire can destroy everything. A simple trash fire turned into a disaster that erased an entire town. Yet the few who stayed behind, those who refused to leave, showed a resilience that defies reason. They stood their ground against smoke, heat, and the slow crawl of oblivion. Even when everything burns, hope can still endure. Drive through Columbia County today, and you might not even notice it. No signs say "Welcome to Centralia." No stores, no schools, only empty roads disappearing into mist. But if you stop, listen closely, you might hear the faint hiss of steam rising from the soil. You might feel the heat beneath your feet. You might sense something ancient, something still alive. Because Centralia isn't gone. It breathes beneath the ashes. It's a reminder that the earth remembers, and that sometimes the greatest mysteries don't lie in the sky or sea. They burn quietly, deep beneath our feet. If this story amazed you, subscribe for more untold histories that deserve to be remembered.